very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on Books and Blogs on Life and Style this beautiful Monday morning. My name is Catherine Mwangi and we thank you for making the time. This past couple of Mondays we've been going through set books being taught in Kenya this year. So far we've gone through a couple of them. This marks the last one that the students will be unpacking this morning. It's titled The Pearl by John Steinbeck. We have a group of students from all over Kenya moderated by teacher Ouma. Thank you so much, Mr. Ouma, for moderating and planning all of these sessions this whole month of January. We're excited to do this. So if you're a parent, teacher, student, gather together and let's see what to make out of The Pearl.
Morning viewers, welcome to the show. We're going to discuss John Steinbeck's novel, The Pearl. And with me is a brilliant team of panelists from different schools. So we'll want them to introduce themselves, and I'll start with the far end. So tell us your name and your school.
My name is Ian Levy from Moi High School, Kabarak, Nakuru
Okay.
County.
And then,
My name is Lena Kalunda from Loreto High School, Limuru.
that's good, yes.
My name is Derek Omondi from Kabianga School, Kericho County.
That's brilliant, yes, a sister.
My name is Joan Sang from Buruburu Girls Secondary School.
Yes, and my immediate next.
My name is Mercy Nangila from Alliance Girls High School.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good show. You can see we have very brilliant mind from different counties, schools within the Republic. And just to start us off, I'll ask Lena to take us through the background of the writer, John Steinbeck. Before we get to the novel, we want to know at least one or two things about the writer.
So the writer of The Pearl is called John Steinbeck. He's a man who was born in California, Salinas, in 1902, but unfortunately he passed on in 1968 after a short illness.
Okay. Maybe more to the background. What else can we get about the background of this writer?
Well, we find that he lived for 66 years and basically he had this passion of writing books and yeah.
Okay, maybe just to get to the novel, The Pearl, quite symbolic. So maybe before we get to chapter 1 of the novel, The Pearl, has it just been arbitrarily used, or what symbol can we get from The Pearl before we get to the text? Yes?
Pardon?
The Pearl itself, the title of the book, is John Steinbeck, has he just arbitrarily used it, or it has some symbolism with the text?
The pearl itself, it's just around. You can see as the main character's Kino was a pearl fisher, and so yeah. And
Okay, maybe I'll ask Mercy, can you tell us the title of the novel, The Pearl? Is it of any significance to the text novel?
Well, I would say he has used the pearl to bring out some symbol of good and evil, in that we see Kino sees that the pearl is a sign, is like his way out of poverty. Like it's his, he sees the pearl like it will bring a lot of prosperities in the future. Like he sees that the pearl will give him a rifle. He's seeing how Coyotito will get his education from the pearl. And basically we can also see that various people surrounding Kino find that the pearl may also benefit them one way or another, in that we find the doctor is interested in his pearl, the priest is interested in his pearl, and yeah, basically.
Of course, yeah. Before getting much into the text, because she's mentioned the doctor and the priest, I want Joan to take us through chapter 1. And because our sister Mazi has mentioned about the good and evil. So Joan, can you take us through chapter 1 Because from chapter 1, that's going to paint that image of the misery, which brings good and evil.
The pearl opens with a simple family, a humble one. We see Kino who is portrayed as a loving husband. When he wakes up, he first looks at his wife and his child. Then that morning, Joanna wakes up and prepares breakfast for her husband, Kino, and she waits for Kino to take his breakfast first before she takes her breakfast. Then in that moment, they see a tiny movement where Koyotito laid, and when they look to his hanging box, they see a scorpion, and before Kino reaches to catch it and kill it, the scorpion lands on Koyotito, their son, and stings him. Of course, they are shocked about how their son has been stung, and Joanna is ready to sacrifice her life by sucking the poison out of Koyotito's shoulder, while Kino grabs the scorpion and crushes it. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe in chapter 1, we see the use of the scorpion, which sting Koyotito or the child. And of course, later on now, the scorpion itself brings misery. So maybe before we move on and look at chapter 2, what can you say about the scorpion? The symbol that is brought out with the scorpion, even in our day-to-day life. Because maybe in the pearl we have the scorpion, but of course in our day-to-day life, we may have a different scorpion which may sting us. Yes, at my far end.
I think that the bite forms the basis of the problems which the family went through. Because you see, after this bite is when it elevates Kino to go and look for the pearl in the ocean. Yes.
Of course, that takes us now to the next chapter, that is the search for the pearl. Because you remember, after the bite, and of course now, the child is supposed to the parents seek for medication. And of course the doctor says no because they could not afford the money. So of course now Yuan goes out to fish for Kino goes out to fish for the pearl. So maybe can you take us through, Mercy, the search for the pearl?
So the search for the pearl was provoked by the fact that the doctor didn't treat Koyotito. So basically, we see that the community has this activity of pearl fishing. So that morning, as they went for pearl fishing, we see how they are coordinating together towards the fishing, and we find that they're helping each other and they're working together as a family and as a team to do the pearl fishing. And Kino finds the pearl of the world, the pearl that he sees as his way out. As
a treasure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe when Kino goes and finds the pearl, there's something which also runs across the pearl, which of course is a style that Steinbeck has used, the music. There are so many music which are brought out. And because during the time that we feel for the pearl, so there's the music which was being sung. Maybe can you tell us about the music, Lena?
Pardon?
Can you tell us now, when Kino goes out now to fish for the pearl, remember the boy, Koyotito, has been stung, and because he cannot afford to pay for the medication, then he goes out to fish for the pearl. So there's this music which soothes the soul. So in the novel, there are so many instances of music. So in this case, what is the place of music as he fishes for the pearl or searches for the pearl?
As Kino searches for the pearl, in his head there's the song of the family. Because he's thinking of his family, at the back of his mind, he's thinking of his son. What can he do? What can he get to get the money to pay the doctor to come and treat his son? So he's singing the song of the family because of the love that he has for his family and what he's willing to do for the sake of his family and his son.
Okay, so that's brilliant. And from Buruburu Girls, what is the place of music in terms of our day-to-day activities? Because of course now there's that music of the family. And of course even in our own setups, there are some times when you sing some song, I know all of us are Christians. So when you sing some song, sometimes you find it soothes your soul. So what is the place of music in the society?
I think music, okay, for some people, it may actually be a calming instrument in such a way that when some are stressed, they listen to music and it soothes their their being.
Their soul.
Yes, yes. And for others, like for the Christian people, they actually find it as a way of praise. So like in this society, the songs are actually used for different purposes.
Okay, so we just highlighted one, cited the music of the family. So which other music are brought out, which runs across the novel? Yes?
We have the music of evil that shows the dangers that are encountering the family. As in, for example, we see when the scorpion was on the hanging rope of the box where Koyotito laid, the song that was in mind of Kino was the song of evil. Yeah.
So of course you can see there's the music of the family, and of course there's the music of the evil. So at this point now we have the pearl, and of course the pearl is a treasure, is beautiful, this family. So when they find the pearl, we expect, because this is treasure, like today now we have lotto, you've just won 200 million shillings, yeah? So that this pearl become a blessing or a curse to Kino's family. Because remember, they have so much. Remember, they live in the bush houses, yeah? So they have so much. So does it become a treasure or rather a blessing or a curse to this family? Yes, you want to react?
I think in the beginning, it actually serves as a treasure to the family, but as the story goes on, it becomes a disastrous thing to the family, because due to the pearl, his son Kyochito dies, and Kino...
Yeah, of course, before you get to the evils, you talk about is a blessing. Maybe you can just paint a picture of that. How is it a blessing to the family?
Kino sees a bright future for his son Kyochito to go to school. He also sees himself and Juana going to get married in the church while Kyochito is being baptized. And also we see him wanting to get a rifle and a rifle for himself from the benefits of the pearl. Yeah.
Was any other voice on the pearl as a blessing? Can you add a voice to it? Yes, from Loreto.
Basically, the pearl is a blessing in that it gives Kino hope for the future. It gives him dreams. It gives him a chance to escape his fate, which is destined to be that of poverty, that of suffering. But when he finds this pearl, he has hope for the future. This pearl will enable him to get all that he ever wanted. His son will go to school. His son will have a brighter future than that which he would have had without the pearl. So basically, the pearl just gives him hope for the future, and that is how it's a blessing, because with hope, anything is possible.
Okay. Then if you look at now the pearl, so there are some characters which come to play, and of course demonstrate their greed. So we have one, the priest, and we have the doctor, who initially had said no to the treating the boy, but they could not afford to pay. So maybe from Kabarak, you can now paint a picture of these characters. The priest, though they're minor characters, but they are pivotal in plot development of the novel.
So I'll start with the priest. So the priest first, when he heard the news that Kino had got the pearl, he came to his homestead, the brushy houses, and we are told that the priest could not come at every time. He only came very rarely. So when he came to them, he asked them if you are going to baptize the child in church, or are you going to marry in church. Then the doctor at first we are told that he refused to treat the young Koyotito. So when the doctor heard that Kino had got the pearl, he came back at night. And we are told at first he looked at the baby, and I believe that he actually poisoned the baby so that he could come back at the second time, so that the people believe that he was the one who treated the baby.
Okay,
Yes.
and mention about the priest, and of course the priest brings the symbol or a representation of religion. What is the place of our churches today? You heard of this story of Panda Mbegu. Yeah, because of course this priest now becomes closer. And even as you remember, these people have been married for some time. Kina and Joanna, they've been married for some time. But of course now the priest says that you guys, you married the church way. So what is the place of religion? in fact, in the modern society? Yes.
In my view, religion has changed because in the past, the main motive of the religious leaders was to lead people back to God. But in the current society, the religious leaders are driven by greed. Because even in the Pearl, when the priest hears of the acquisition of the Pearl, that is when he remembers that Kino and Wana have not been married in a church. Why is it that he would not have remembered that before the Pearl was acquired? So driven by his greed, he goes and reminds them that, oh, by the way, you've not been married in a church, so these are the things you have to do. Because to be married in the church, they will have to pay, and the priest will benefit from the Pearl.
Okay, that's brilliant. Joan, are you seeing hypocrisy in our churches?
Yes. Okay. In my view, I think yes, because in the story I've just said about Panda Mbegu, those...
That is quite common in our churches, yeah?
Yes.
And talk about even the new convert. There's some of them will run out of the church because today the offertory box is transparent. You don't drop a coin, yeah?
Yeah,
Yes.
so I think there's a lot of hypocrisy because those churches for today, they perform fake miracles in such a way that, so that the people can be motivated to remove more offering in which they use for their own purposes.
Maybe have you been a victim in your local church or if you're in town? Yeah, maybe you can tell us about our churches because it comes out clearly. And of course it also breeds, because you know the Pearl also, it breeds greed. And greed breeds evil.
Basically, what they've said is just what anyone else would say about the church of today. Because in churches are supposed to be places where, you know, people meet together to like honor God and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But nowadays, like, greed is driving people, even in churches, religious leaders in churches. Greed is driving them in that they're willing to perform fake miracles just to get that which they want, just to get that money out of people, just to benefit themselves. And basically that's not what religion is about. And all these acts are basically showing us where the world is going, like in terms of
It is going south, eh?
Yeah.
The world is going south.
yeah.
Okay, now speaking of greed and evil, we did talk about there's the music of the evil. And of course, even in the contemporary society, there's some of us who sing the music of the evil. Yeah, so in this case, the Pearl becomes a curse to this family, of course, to Kino's family. So in this case, there's so many characters who are brought out. So looking at the Pearl being a curse to this family, maybe how does it breed evil through the novel? Who are the character of Kino, who are the character of Juan, and the priest and the doctor? Yes, Lena.
Okay, the Pearl breeds evil, and it's mostly brought out in Kino. Because previously Kino was a very loving man. He loved his wife, he loved his family so much. But after he gets the Pearl, he becomes a murderer. He kills a number of men. He kills 3 men in a bid to save the Pearl. He also kills another man and also brutalizes his wife, all for the Pearl. He loses all his morals. He loses the man that he had become before, the man that he had been before, simply for the Pearl, simply to sell the Pearl, simply because of his greed of what he wants.
Okay, and mentioning about the killings, and look at the situation of Kino. And some of us come from such families. You live in bush houses that represents the Islam that we have today. And of course, now you sing the music of the family, and you are in that destitute situation. Then, of course, you get the Pearl. So, are the killings justified in the Pearl? So, are the killings which are done by Kino justified? Yes?
Yeah, I think they're justified because you see, these people who are killed by Kino, they're not just. It's not that just Kino just woke up and decided to go and kill them. They are the ones who wanted to take the Pearl from him, and Kino saw the Pearl as the only chance that his family had, especially for the hopes that his son could go to school. And so Yeah, that's it.
Okay, maybe apart from the killing, so any other character who breeds evil because of the pearl? As we wind up before we take a break. Yes, from Kabarak.
I think the pearl buyers, because you are told that there was one agent who had, there was one pearl buyer, but he had 3 agents. So they colluded with both the 3 of them to at least try and make Kino to see that the pearl was quite not valuable, because you are told that the pearl buyers even gave him a magnifying glass. So when he observed the pearl, he saw that it was not quite value, because it was, you can see an image of.
Okay, maybe talk about the pearl buyers. You want to take a short break. Our viewers, when you're back, we're going to discuss about the pearl buyers and move the pearl from the buyers to the city and back. We'll take a short break.